Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
The first question today is that clear now?
Yeah, it is clear.
Okay. The first question is from Rajani ji. Rajani ji, you can ask that question to Swamiji.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste, namaste.
My question is, we have read it. Yeah. Only one supreme consciousness, and but we hear of the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. We hear of Devi. We hear of the devatas like Indra Dev and Vayu Dev and everybody. So how do we integrate all of them? How do we understand?
Yeah, I blocked him.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yeah. When we try to understand the greatness of Hindu Dharma, this is one of the basic subjects or very basic topic we have to know. That is difference between or connection between Ishvara and Devata. See, in other religions, especially the so-called Abrahamic religions, there is no such concepts or differences there. When we analyze those religions and their beliefs, of course, there is the concept of Ishvara, and the difference between Ishvara and Devata, such concept is not at all there. Whereas in Sanatana Dharma, Vaidika Dharma, this is one of the primary subjects. See, there are three levels. What are these three levels? If there is an effect, there must be a cause. Without cause, no effect will be there. So the whole universal phenomena, all the manifestations, which we can divide into microcosm and macrocosm, that is the Veshti and Samashti, all these effects must have a cause. And what is that very primary cause? The same thing we can analyze from another standpoint. The whole universal phenomena we are seeing, or we can cognize, is constantly moving. That is why in Samskrita we are calling this Jagat. Jagat is constantly moving. And for movement to happen, there must be an immovable substratum. Without an immovable substratum, no movement will occur. So, what is the immovable substratum? What is that? On which all the universal phenomena are coming and going, are moving. What is that? This absolute existence, one without birth, one without death, this immovable stratum of all the manifestations, or the very basic cause of all the universal phenomena, we are calling it by the name Brahman or Paramatma. Brahman or Paramatma. It is existence absolute and the basic cause of all phenomena. Now, take this as the first stage or first level. And when we are thinking about this ultimate reality, there is no any differentiation. There is no any differentiation. As the world is not evolved, or as the world is not manifested, there is nothing to be controlled. So the aspect of Ishvara, that is the controller, even that is not there. So this existence absolute, which we call Brahman, is above Ishvara. This is the absolute existence. Now, we have to understand that the innate power, of this existence absolute is called Maya. Maya is very innate. It cannot be differentiated because it is not another entity. It is not another entity. Just like fire and heat, it is one and the same. Without the one, we cannot conceive about the other. We can say they are two aspects of the same reality, or it is an aspect of the absolute reality. And the Maya, which is innate, one without a second, it is being manifested as many. That is, see here, so much limitation is there for using the words, because when we are saying because of the union of the Brahman and Maya, we may think they are different entities. So we cannot say union because they are one and the same. There is no different entities. There are no two entities. But let us take a common usage. When this innate Maya is expressed outside, that is manifested outside, just like my sound is coming outside now, and that is why you are hearing. The power of sound is there within. It is innate. It is not different. It's a part of me. And when it is not manifested, we will not realize it. We will not recognize it. When it is manifested outside, we will recognize. In the same way, the innate power of Brahman, Maya, when it is expressed, it will have a Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, and Tamo Guna. That is 3 gunas. And as an effect of that, the whole phenomena will manifest. And first manifestations are the 5 elements. And as the permutations and combinations of these elements, the whole universe come into existence. And there is a system, there is a scheme. When there is a scheme, when there is a system, there must be a controller, a controlling faculty. And who is controlling all this? There are many stages we have to explain. I am not going in detail. For example, we have to discuss about the Hiranyagarbha aspect and all. But for the sake of answering this question, I am not going to detail all these things. But let me say this much. When the world or when the universal phenomena is manifested, as long as the Jagat is there, there is the controller of the whole system. There must be a controller. And that controlling faculty, which is responsible for the origination, the sustenance, and dissolution of the universal phenomena, is called Ishvara. Is Ishvara. So Ishvara is one. There are no 2 Ishvaras. And now the world is there and the Ishvara is there. And see, there are many functions, many aspects, or many facets in this universe or for the manifested plane. For example, see, things are evolving. Those things and worlds which evolved are sustaining. And after a certain time, they are dissolving. So what is behind all this? There must be some power. There must be some entity, some faculty that our acharyas called Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, respectively. In the same way, there are innumerable phenomena in the universe. Behind each and every phenomenon, there must be some controlling entity or a scheme or a system must have some controlling entity behind that. These our acharyas or rishis called devatas. So how many devatas are there? Innumerable. We cannot count them. We cannot limit them to 33 crores. No. Innumerable are they. As many phenomena are there, so many devatas are there. So, this is the third level. These are devatas. Actually, devatas are different aspects of the same Ishvara. As aptly described by Yaska Maharshi in his Nirukta, Ekasya Atmano Anye Devaha Pratyangani Bhavanti. Ekasya Atmano Anye Devaha Pratyangani Bhavanti. All the devatas are parts of one and the same Atma. So devatas are different aspects of the Ishvara. And from another angle also we can discuss this. That is, see, the innate power of Brahman is Maya, and Maya is with Sattva-guna, Rajo-guna and Tamo-guna. And from the, see, this Maya have that ability, that capacity to make reflections of that Brahman. Or in other words, the reflection of Brahman will be there in the Maya. And when that reflection is there in the pure sattvic aspect of Maya, it is called Ishvara. And another aspect of the same Maya, which is not that much pure, it is called Avidya. So in that Avidya Maya, the same Brahman is get reflected. And from that, all jivas are coming. All jivas. And these jivas, they are innumerable. And these jivas, they are of different categories. From devatas to grass, or even lower than that, microbes, or still lower than that, simple manifestation of life. So from Brahma up to the tip of a grass, all these are jivas. And devatas are the highest class of jivas. Devatas are the highest class of jivas. And through devatas, we are worshipping Ishvara. Through devatas, we are worshipping Ishvara. So this is another angle of the same subject. So three levels we have to recognize. One is the ultimate, the supreme level, which is called Brahman, which we can understand as existence absolute. And then there is the Ishvara concept, that is the controller of all phenomena. And then different devatas who are responsible for controlling different phenomena. And we have to remember this fact. Through these devatas, we are worshipping, or we are meaning this Ishvara. And through Ishvara, what is meant? The absolute reality. These are three levels we have to understand while we are studying the basic principles of Sanatana Dharma. So there are many gods, many devatas. If fire is burning, there is a devata behind that. If there is air, there is a devata behind that. If sun is rising, there is a devata behind that. So each and every phenomenon will have a basic principle which is responsible for that phenomenon, or which is controlling that phenomenon. That is devata. This we have to have a clear idea with it. Namaste.
Namaste, Swamiji. Next
Namaste.
question. Yeah, next question is from Kamalaji. Kamalaji, you can.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Yeah, this is regarding actually in the Ishvara and Brahma, the Paramatma, if we take it as Nirguna Ishvara, and is it correct to say that whether the Paramatma can be taken, because we will always Mahavakya Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam. So there, can we just take the Paramatma as Nirguna Ishvara?
Yeah, there is nothing wrong in that. But see, Paramatma is Nirguna. That means above all gunas, devoid of gunas. Devoid of gunas and above all gunas. But when we say so, we have to understand that the innate power of Paramatma is there, and that is being manifested as Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, that is having guna. So, Ishvara is with gunas, and above that, there is the level where these gunas are not manifested. Gunas are not manifested. So when we say is nirguna, without any guna, it means that manifestation is not there. Because what is there in the effect or in the world, it must be there in the primary cause of the world. So Brahman is devoid of guna, but all gunas are manifested from that same reality. But then we will not call it as the Brahman. Then we will call it either Karana Brahma or Ishvara. So we can say so. There is nothing wrong in that. So Ishvara without guna is Brahma. Right.
Can I ask one more question, Swamiji?
Of course, why not?
Is there anybody else waiting?
Yeah, you may ask, ma'am. You may ask, please.
No, yeah. In the Janani Navaratna Manjari, the first sloka, the Mamadi and Tanmadi, how do we understand that? Onnaya Mamadil Ninno
See,
Tanmadi
here
Maranu.
I think we can discuss that tomorrow, because here in this session, many who are attending this session do not know Malayalam.
Okay.
So Janani Navaratna Manjari is a work. It's a Malayalam work, and to understand and to enjoy the inner meanings, we must know Malayalam. So I think we can discuss that tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, Swami. Next question from Babuji. Babuji, please unmute yourself.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste, namaste.
Swamiji, for a sadhak who goes through Sravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, now assuming that one has done the Sravanam and also done the Mananam and accepted that Brahman is the absolute reality, now getting to the stage of Nididhyasanam, can you probably throw some more light on that? I know we discussed this a few weeks back, and you had mentioned that getting into the meditation stage is an automatic process once you are on that path. So I just wanted some more clarification on that.
Yeah. See, when we are using the term dhyanam, in the present day world, it is being translated as meditation. I don't know the actual meaning of meditation, so I am using dhyanam. To that stage, there are many pathways, and dhyanam is a stage which must come by its own. We cannot do dhyanam. It is not a thing to be performed. It is not an activity to be done, but it is a stage to come. It must come by its own. And for its advent, we have to pass through different stages like kirtana, then puja, doing puja and all in the path of devotion, or yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, etc. When we are considering the path of Ashtanga Yoga, so many ways are there. Through music also, through music, Shuddha Sangeetam, we can reach that dhyana. So there are so many pathways to reach that state of dhyana. But when we are using the term Nididhyasanam, even though many acharyas are using these two terms as synonyms, dhyanam and nididhyasanam, there are much difference. Yes, it is a state of dhyanam. There is no doubt in that. Nididhyasanam is a state of dhyanam. But when we say nididhyasanam, it is the effect of having one pointed state of intellect or focused state of intellect in the self. In the self. When we are using the term dhyanam, it can be nididhyasanam. But when we are using the term nididhyasanam, there is something more than dhyanam. And what is that? See, when a disciple or a seeker, he's hearing Shastra with fullest Shraddha from a guru. Then while hearing, the process of manana will be there. So both this Shravana and manana will go simultaneously. And after that, he can do manana. Then he is not doing Shravana. While he is doing Shravana, both Shravana and manana will be there. Both will happen simultaneously. But later, he will enter into manana, the process of manana. There he is ruminating over what he have heard again and again, using many logics. In many rational ways, he thinks. he is connecting many other aspects with what he have heard. And of course, the path of manana differs from person to person according to his ability, intellectual capacity, and the guna structure. So many aspects are there which will influence manana. So there are differences according to persons. And see, when we are doing manana, one by one, questions will come creeping in. Many questions, many doubts, many questions. They're coming in, pouring in. Sometimes shaking the very base of our faith, even in Guru and Shastra. But if we are moving in the right direction, if we are doing Shravana and Manana, then we will find such questions are going down, decreasing. The first, there was no question. Question will come to a thinking mind. Then one after another questions came. And as a result of Shravana and Manana, the number, the momentum of the questions will go down and down. And see, now what I have or I had heard from the Guru, the teachings of the Guru and teachings of the Shastra, both are becoming one. And my concepts, they also are getting one with that. So what is happening is a unification or unifying of these three: Guru's words, Shastra's teachings, and my own conviction. So when these are becoming one, there is no doubts, there are no questions. So naturally our mind, our intellect, that is now fully focused without any vacillation. It is not moving here and there. Now it is established, well established in the principle, which I have imbibed as a result of my Shravana and Manana. And this state is the state of Nididhyasana. So there it is, there the mind is in the position of dhyana. There is no doubt. 100% Nididhyasana is dhyana. But there is something more. For example, when I am concentrated, fully concentrated, I am concentrating my mind and intellect, and without any vacillation, any moving here and there, it is focused on one point. Whatever be that point, it can be a picture, it can be a name, it can be a dot in one place, it can be a tip of my nose. When the mind is focused, it is dhyana. It is not nididhyasana. When all my senses of knowledge and mind and intellect are focused on one point, it is dhyana. It is dhyana. It can be the tip of my nose, or it can be the bhrumadhya, that is the middle of my eyebrows. It is not nididhyasana. But nididhyasana is when the same focus is there on the self as a result of Shravana and Manana, then it is called nididhyasana. I think now it is clear. Namaste.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste, namaste.
Next question is from Ajay ji.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Swamiji, when we observe the society, there is a considerable rise in the crime against women, particularly rape. How can we address this issue? How can this issue be resolved?
Definitely, there is no doubt crime against women are on the increase. There is no doubt in that. Atrocities against women. But when we are saying that, when we are speaking about that, if we observe impartially, if we are observing impartially, what is rising is not a crime against women, crime against human being, crime against men, crime against the children. And again, if we are going to categorize crime against mother, crime against father, so that criminal behavior, criminal mind, that is going up. When we are focusing on women, it is on the rise. There is no doubt in that. I am one with you. I am one with you. But at the same time, if we are ready to observe the whole picture, we cannot differentiate crime against women, crime against men, crime against children. It is increasing. And if you are asking this question, how we can control this, how we can stop this, I cannot answer for that question if you are limiting crime against women. Because if you are having that criminal mind within, it will come out. It will be against women. If there are no women, it will be against men. It will be against the children. So the treatment must be at the very base of our individuality. Sense of dharma. Sense of dharma. In the present day educational system, we are giving so many data into the brain. So many inputs we are giving just to make experts in different fields. The very basic objective of education, that is man-making, character building. On that we are not at all heeding. We are not at all paying any attention on that. We are making subject matter experts. So the basic concept of education, there we have to treat. And this system of education, when it is starting, we have to start it from the very basic state, that is when we are in the womb of mother, then this must start. The thoughts of the pregnant woman, how she is thinking, what sorts of scenes, what sorts of experiences she is having, what type of food she is eating, what type of transactions she is doing. All these are there. They will influence the child. The very thought of the pregnant woman, that will influence the child. So when we talk about the educational system, we must not take it as to mean the education we are getting from schools and colleges and universities. No. It begins from the very womb of the mother. Then in what situation we are staying? What circumstances we are giving? What the child is seeing, what the child is hearing. See? Nowadays, you just to see our little kids. They are playing computer games. They're playing in their mobile phones and laptops. Many types of games are there. But all these are making a criminal mind in them. Killing, shooting, raping, this, that. They are not getting human values. And the lifestyle of a pregnant woman, lifestyles of our families. Just observe. Then what will be the product? What will be the product? And from the system of education that begins from schools, colleges and all, we are putting into the brain of our future generation many datas to be experts in different subjects. There are also human values we are not teaching. And the importance of linguistic studies, that is languages, that also is going down. I'm not speaking about Samskrita alone. Whichever be the language. Through languages, whether it be English or Samskrita or whichever be it, through languages, a bunch of human values will come. Irresistibly, that will enter into the very fabric of human individuality. So that also is lacking. So generation after generation, what is happening? Now you observe our children. They have high technological ability. A kid of 2 or 3 year age, he will operate a smartphone. He will operate a computer. He will teach you. She will teach you how to operate a computer, a smartphone. But their linguistic ability is going down and down. Even the usage of language by a university student, the quality of that language, it is going down. So the harmonious development of our left and right brain, that is not happening. So what we are giving to our kids, this is the question. What we are giving to the next generation, this is the question. And what we are expecting from them. Without giving any human values, dharmic values, dharmic teaching, are you expecting them to be human beings? No. So, this is the point where we have to treat. The system of education must be man-making. It must be character building. It must instill moral values. So we have to think on this. Even now, we have time. Even now, we have time. But if the human race is not working on this, the future will be very disastrous. So there are many aspects, influences we are having through media, newspapers, TV shows, cinemas, many media. So all these have to be taken into consideration. So this is not a problem which we can tackle sitting in a watertight compartment. All aspects of the problem we have to take and consider, and we have to analyze the pros and cons of all these aspects and have to reach at the conclusion. So we cannot speak about the atrocities against men, atrocities against women, against the children, against the parents. No, we cannot. It is the effect of that criminal mind which we are developing now. And now coming to your question specifically, in our Shastras, we are teaching the greatness of mother. And our acharyas are asking us to see that manifestation of divine mother in all women. That teaching, if we are giving, if we are ready to give, it will work. So I cannot dissect the problem and take atrocities against women alone. We have to observe the whole problem from a higher level. Yeah, this is the answer I can say.
Namaste, Swamiji. The next question is
Namaste.
from Rukmini ji. You can unmute yourself.
Could you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajiv. And Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaste, namaste, namaste.
I hope you remember me. We met in last
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah, I asked
Yeah,
you
yeah.
few
Yes,
questions.
I'm remembering. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Swamiji, this is like I am actually into research to Hinduism, trying to understand it for myself. And when we go deeper and deeper into these concepts of gods, and there is so much misinformation. I don't know whether to say misinformation or wrong information or misrepresentation. I'll give you an example. Like, for example, Lord Shiva. I hope you remember that we had this conversation about Lord Shiva at that time. Lord Shiva is depicted as an angry person who doesn't have any anger control. He even chopped, his son's head, and he was not so happy with Lord Brahma on something. Deeper it is about Goddess Saraswati, and he chopped Brahma's fifth head, something like that. So there is all this misrepresentation or wrong story. So that is actually creating a little bit of credibility or credit, or when you talk to the youth, especially the youth here. See, here also the universities offer a lot of Hindu courses, Hindu philosophy and South Asian studies, and things like that. So the youth, whoever know little bit, they are having a lot of questions. Why would a God be so a person without any anger control? Anger control. I don't know whether you can hear me properly, but
I am hearing.
Yeah, things like that. And there are these kind of stories about each and every god. For example, Lord Brahma, he himself gave birth to Saraswati as the creator of the universe. And then, the story is that he was looking at Saraswati, he couldn't control, and made a partner, but then the story doesn't agree with the real Brahma. So you dig deeper into our concepts. Okay, I don't know whether you have time to answer, or is it like a silly question or a serious question?
No, it is not a silly question. It is a serious question.
A serious question.
And much and very genuine also.
Okay, yeah.
Because when
absolutely. So what would you tell a youth, like if somebody asks question like this?
See, in our Shastras, we have to understand two aspects of our Shastra. There are two aspects. One is the Shruti aspect, the other is the Smriti aspect. In the Shruti, what we are seeing is the absolute truth explained in most rational, most logical language, which a student and one who is always trying to criticize, even he can understand, because it is presented in such a most logical manner, rational language. And Shruti is exploring things about the reality. And now come to the second aspect, that is the Smriti aspect. In the Smriti, what we are seeing is so many stories, tales and parables, so many stories of different devatas, different asuras, that is demonic and divine persons or powers. As there are innumerable Shastras, Smriti Shastras. If there is only one Smriti Shastra, there is no problem. There is no contradiction. But the Smritis are many and addressed to many. For example, in the Vaishnava Smritis, we will see Vishnu depicted as the ultimate reality. In the Shaiva Smritis, Puranas and all, we will see Shiva depicted as the ultimate reality. In the Shakteya text, we will see Devi or Shakti depicted as the highest. When we are going to the core, there is no any contradiction, because who is praised as Vishnu is the same as Shiva, and the Shiva is the same as Devi, because there are no two Ishwaras. But without understanding this, without understanding the inner meanings of Smritis, we will get so many contradictory aspects, especially in the stories. And if we are focusing on them, our Puranas, especially Puranas, will be a bunch of contradictions. So what we have to tell our youth is, these are stories just to explain the intricate principles of the Shruti. And you have to analyze them and accept those aspects so as to imbibe the teachings of the Shruti. And if you are criticizing this without a proper study, without a proper analysis, if you are criticizing this much contradictions are there, or this much aspects which are not acceptable to a social mind or the present day society is there in our Shastras, the problem is same with all religions. It is not the problem of Hindu religion. See, Adam and Eve, they had 2 children. Both were sons. Then comes a question, how the later progeny came? How? Was that lifestyle acceptable to the God, the all-powerful God? Because there is no mention of any more children for Adam. Then the whole humanity came into existence as the children of Adam and Eve. How? There is only one way. Only one way. That is, these children made their mother their mate. Is it acceptable for the present day society or present day social mind? No. So what I am saying is, when we are going to the Smriti aspects of religions, there will be contradictions, there will be unacceptable aspects, but we have to focus on the Shruti aspect. And we must explain Smriti on the basis of Shruti. Then there is no contradiction. And many topics were there in your questions, like the anger of Shiva. If you are seeing that personality who is having that much uncontrollable anger, then to that youth, you have to show the other aspect of Shiva, who is established in calmness, who is the very personification of austerity, who is immersed in deep dhyana. Then immediately you have to show another aspect, the dancing Shiva. And as the effect of that dance of Nadaraja, all the branches of knowledge manifested. All art form, all sciences, everything. And just after that, you show him who is immersed in samadhi. So there are different aspects of Shiva. If somebody is focusing on one aspect and vilifying, you have to show the other. And you have to ask them to take both. So this is the way we have to correct them. There are much more to say, but now already we have crossed the time. So today we can conclude and we can continue this discussion in our next sitting. Namaste. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti